A full day of talks has wrapped up here in Zurich between China and the United States, almost immediately after the US delegation departed from this convention center just next to Zurich Airport. We had statements from both countries about what was discussed behind closed doors in this latest meeting. The Chinese have said that they want to avoid conflict and confrontation with the United States, and that China also opposes defining the relationship in terms of competition. Meanwhile, the White House has said that National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan raised what they call areas of concern with the Chinese. They mentioned specifically the South China Sea, Hong Kong and Taiwan, and that they also want to work towards ensuring responsible competition with China. So a real difference between the two countries in terms of whether they want to use that word competition in terms of their relationship. This is, of course, just the latest round of talks that we've seen between Beijing and Washington since US President Joe Biden took office. We had back in March a high-level talks taking place in the US state of Alaska, where we saw these really tense exchanges breaking out between the two sides in front of the world's cameras that were allowed into the meeting room there in Anchorage. We then had a telephone call between US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping. The White House readouts from that phone call talked about responsibly managing competition, and we saw that phrase cropping up once again in the summary from the White House from these latest talks here in Zurich. And it's also worth noting that once again, after this latest round of talks, we don't have any sort of concrete agreements between the Chinese and the Americans in terms of things like lifting trade tariffs. Giles Gibson, CGTN, Zurich, Switzerland.